We're now moving on to the second hole of the harmonica. So if we look at our chart, we have for our 2-draw, we have the option of 2-draw or 2-draw whole step bend. 2-draw being the root, 2-draw whole step bend being the flat 7th, G and F. For our 4 chord, again, we could just stay on the 2-draw if we want, or go to 2-blow. 2-blow would be a good choice because it's a note that's different than the draw. And that's E, that's the 3rd of the 4 chord. And then for our 2-draw half step bend, that's our major 3rd, or just the 3rd of the 5 chord. So we'll follow that same general idea. Follow me. 2-draw for the 1 chord. Stay there. Half step bend. Blow. Drop. Half step bend. Blow. Back to 2. You gotta make sure you're bending a half step for the 5 chord. Alright, so that gives us a whole bunch of options. Well, maybe not a whole bunch, but some options, right? What about the 2-draw whole step bend? Well, yeah, you can play that for your 1 chord. It's gonna be bluesy. Will these notes always match? No. They are, theory-wise, technically, they should match. But it does depend on what the band's playing. It depends on the voicing that the guitarist and the piano player lay down, sometimes the bass player. So even though these notes should match, it depends on the groove that the band is playing. Sometimes one of these notes, like that 2-blow of the 4 chord, it's the major 3rd, that sometimes doesn't match. It depends on the hook or the lick that some of the other musicians are playing. But general rule of thumb, will work. Now it's time to move on to the 1st and 2nd hole together, right? So I've got the 1 chord, I've got 1-draw, 2-draw, whole step bend, 2-draw. We already knew that. For the 4 chord, 1-blow, 2-blow. Remember I just said blow. 2-draw is an option though. 5 chord, 1-blow, 1-draw, 2-draw, half step bend. So now what our goal is to improvise using the first 2 holes, but now you have a knowledge of what matches very well for your 4 chord. You have a knowledge of what matches very well for your 5 chord, right? So what chorus form to use? If you use your A chorus form, you can't use this idea, right? Because when the 4 chord comes, you're still playing a 1 chord based idea. When the 5 chord comes in measure 9, you're still playing a 1 chord based idea. So this is more appropriate for, say, our ABAC chorus form. Remember the ABAC chorus form, when the band changes, you change with them. So in this case, this makes a lot of sense. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and improvise, or I'm going to improvise now for 3 choruses, just like I did before, on hole 1, 2, and 3. And you're going to notice there's going to be some cooler stuff coming out because I'm playing notes when the chord changes that I know will match. All right, here's holes 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, now I could have just kept on going, right? That sounded a lot better to me. I hope it sounded better to you. So I was using the notes that match those given chords, the 1 and the 4 and then the 5. Sometimes I didn't change. 2 draw, and I just kept playing that lick through the 4 chord because 2 draw is the 5th of the 4 chord, G of your C, E, G chord, right? So little by little you're able to make that improvising happen. Now again, I know my chords very well, I know my C harmonica very well, I know how they match. And as I'm playing over the 12-bar blues, I'm thinking, oh, here comes the 4 chord. I'll go to 2 blow, see where it takes me. And I'm not only hitting the notes of the chord, it's just that if I'm going to hold a note, it needs to match that, right? That's really what we're talking about. So as we go through this process, one is just to think the 1 chord first, 1 draw, 2 draw whole step bend, 2 draw, our D, F, and G, right? And just see where it takes us. That's step 1. And that'll make you a better player right there. Step 2 says, dig into the 4 chord. Get to know the notes of the 4 chord, which are simply blow, right? And then our 5 chord, which is a little bit more challenging, that's our D, F sharp, A, C. 1 blow, 1 draw, 2 draw, half step bend, right? So as those chords change, you can go to a note that is unique to that chord so that you can save your quote-unquote generic licks for your 1 chord and possibly your 4 chord. But that last line needs to be very specific, right? So we're taking that next step. It will take months to be able to do what I just did right here and add a lot of notes and make it sound really fluid. But you know what? We're in no hurry, right? You're going to be studying blues harmonica for the rest of your life. It's a real enjoyable process. But really do enjoy it and understand that it is a process and that improvising first comes from your lick vocabulary, placing it into the context of what we understand as good phrasing or chorus forms. And now we're taking that next step of saying, you know what, these notes will match. It's just up to me to take those notes that match and throw in ideas from my experience. You're a sum of all your experiences, right? Which is your lick vocabulary, welling up through that. You hit a 2 draw, let's see where it takes me. If that's not welling up, you don't have enough licks. So you need to dig in and study more songs. You always want to be working on a song to develop your lick vocabulary. I sure do. All right, so let's move on to our next study of 1, 2, 3. So we add our 3rd hole on the harmonica.